So, another of the personalities that we have in this chapter of Mexico, SMTA Ciudad Juárez, is Keith from SMTA England.
Europe.
Europe,
Yeah.
okay. So, it's a pleasure, sir, to have this brief conversation with you. Anna told me you have to have this conversation with him because you are one of the presenters for Industry 4.0. So
correct.
that's interesting. SMT, Industry 4.0 is amazing, is changing everything.
Yes. It's been around for a long time, but now it's starting to really, let's say, speed up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are seeing a lot of advantages from using it. So
Yeah.
it's a good time to come here and present it. So I'm really pleased and honored that the Juarez chapter has asked me to come.
Yeah, you know what? I spent several years ago some years working with everything about digital manufacturing, how to implement a digital twin, these kind of things about digitation. In Mexico, it was just the beginning, but now, as you can see, it's changing. The people is trying to bring these kind of technologies for right now and trying to start and ramp up everything, offering new services with this global situation that we're having and trying to be competitive around the world.
Yep, that's it exactly. In a lot of countries that I visit are, I can say almost every country now
Yeah.
is understanding that they have to improve their first time pass yields, they have to reduce their downtime, they have to be more efficient, and basically they have to do everything they can because they're working on a smaller and smaller profit margin.
Yeah.
And anything which goes wrong can have a dramatic impact when your margins are quite small.
Exactly. But one of the benefits that I always saw in all of this is that you can have global operations, but standardize everything. Doesn't matter if you're running a project in China, Mexico, or maybe the US, right? But you can have standardized everything. And that is one of the benefits for me, I guess.
Yes, I mean the big advantage that the global manufacturers see is basically if they're building the same product in different countries, they can very easily set up a copy exact process, and they can basically monitor, let's say, all the production lines that are making it from wherever they are, and they can see which ones are doing better than the others.
Yep.
And then basically, they can learn globally from the better performing lines what the others need to do to bring them all up to the
Yep.
same level. So yeah, it's a huge management tool when it's used properly. But as a gentleman said to me yesterday, the big problem that I see, Keith, with what you're going to talk about tomorrow is that if you have, and it's a very American phrase, garbage in is garbage out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's the big thing that some people need to embrace a little bit more, is that they need to put the time and the effort in up front to make sure that the data they're using is good. Because if the data isn't good, they may as well not bother.
Yeah, you bet. You
Yeah.
bet. Totally agree. Actually, I think, well, because I like to have this conversation with you. What is important to consider when you're starting to bring your operations to the Industry 4.0, but trying to prepare all the land for artificial intelligence, because that is something that the people is trying to implement right now, actually. But how you can implement that kind of things if you don't have, for example, in the production floor, you don't have everything connected. So it's very important to have all the sensors, to have all the data and everything connected to eventually have the control, maybe through the cloud services or in your own service,
Yeah.
local services. But it's important to have everything connected. So what do you think is important to consider when you are starting with this, how to say, journey, I guess, of digitization?
Right. My advice that I give my clients who ask me the same question is you have equipment already on your line, which is doing most of the job of, let's say, getting the results of what you're doing. The thing that you need to do is to get them all to feed that information back.
Yeah.
So if we look at the line, most people have SPI, the good ones have 3D SPI. Some of them have pre-reflow 2D AOI. Then they have 3D reflow. Some of them also have inline X-ray inspection. Now, all of those machines effectively are sensors on your line.
Yeah.
They're telling you how good your product is. Not only whether it passes or fails, but what is happening within, let's call it the process window. And if you connect those machines to a management information system or MES, then you're able to control a lot of the things on your production line.
Yeah.
You may need to have a technician who's actually looking at the screens and saying, okay, I've got some missing solder paste and it's happened on 4 or 5 boards. So first job is, okay, we clean the stencil. If we're still getting it, we need to examine a little bit further. But you can generally try and keep the process within the process window.
Yeah.
I'm a great believer in fixing the process window
Yeah.
rather than fixing the scrap or the rejects.
Yeah.
Because if you can sit within the process window, then you don't produce scrap, you don't produce rejects. And linking the machines together, okay, you're not linking the pick and place, you're not linking the reflow, you're not doing all the other stuff, but at least if the inspection machines are all feeding back to a central database, you can see, okay, let's say I've got a thin joint that's happening a lot,
Yeah.
and you can look at the solder paste deposit for the same joint and decide that, okay, it's within the window, but it is a bit thin. You can actually change the parameters of your process so that it fails and you don't have the problem at the end of the line.
Exactly.
So for me, that's that's the best piece of advice I can give people is, if taking on Industry 4.0 and Smart Factory to do it complete, to go from goods inwards to goods outwards, and even to even look at the purchasing and supply chain.
Yeah.
It's a very big process. But if you can link your inspection machines together, you're going to make a significant difference to your yield. So
Okay.
that's the best, and as I'm going to say this afternoon, that is the best first stage. Once you've got that, you can then build, if you're working with an MES company, you can take that as, let's say, module 1, and then you can look at maybe the supply chain and logistics and goods inwards as module 2, and then look at downtime, machine maintenance, and all the other things as the next module, and then you can build it up a step at a time.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a few, even large companies, have a huge number of problems because they try and embrace the whole thing at exactly the same time. And it involves so many changes and so much education for all of the staff that, to be honest, in some cases, things are worse for maybe 2 months before they start to get better.
It's very important to map all your process.
Yeah.
And identify with experts,
Yeah.
have a good services of consultancy, and identify where or what's gonna be your path, your road to follow, and try to connect everything. Because, for example, these kind of little advices that you said before about how to prepare everything in inspection, to collaborate and have the data, right?
Yeah.
So, because my next question or maybe topic to talk with you is how we can create a business case. Yeah. Because for me, that is one of the, I guess, objections that the people used to have in the production, because they say, I don't have time, I don't have money to do that, or so easy to say, I don't have urgency to do that.
Yep.
And my thing is, buddy, you are losing money. You have an urgency right now because you can improve your business right now with an expert, and with the savings that you're gonna have in your process, you can pay for everything or I mean, improve all your process. So that is my point. What do you think when the people talk about the business case?
Well, the simple first question that I come back when people say this to me is, can you afford not to do it? Are you making so much money that it doesn't matter? And for some people, the answer is yes. And in that case, they don't need to invest anything. I mean, over time, their margins are going to become less and less.
Yeah.
But today, yeah, maybe they don't need it. I mean, I've never met a company yet that doesn't need it, but maybe there are companies out there that are so profitable that they are sitting there with luxury and everyone is really happy.
Yes, exactly.
But for most companies who live in the real world, you cannot afford not to do it
Yeah.
because your competitors are doing it. And if your competitors become more efficient and they can quote lower prices compared to the same market that you're in, then they can offer the same quality at a lower price. They are going to win the business.
Yeah.
And improving the quality of our manufacturing, however we do it, the simple bottom line is it's to either sustain the business that we have or to gain more business. And if the company isn't prepared to invest in doing those things, then it's probably not going to be successful for very long. And if you want to look at a lot of the big companies who are really strong advocates of Industry 4.0, a lot of them are huge global multinationals that are running very successfully on very small profit margins.
Yeah.
And they're doing it because of the technology, because they're using the data, and because they're investing in the future of their businesses.
Yeah, exactly. You have to put your resources, but they're gonna have a better result, I guess. So, Kid, I really appreciate your time, amigo. I'm gonna stop the chapter right here, and I want to see your presentation to see more information about this. Personally, I'm passionate about Industry 4.0 and digital twin, I guess.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
it
it's
was
part
a
of my-
meaningful conversation.
Yeah. Digital twin is a large part of my presentation as well. We're going to cover a little bit also about robotics and automation and even the lights out factory concept. So
That's
a lot
it.
to see this afternoon. So
Amigo.
please come. You are welcome.
Thank you very much. Gracias. God bless you.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you very much.